Hi gang, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Ed Makes, and in this episode I'm going to be making some Halloween zombies using some Dollar Tree Halloween decorations. Now here are some disgusting zombies I made using just the basic of supplies. A little bit of paint, some hot glue, and these skeleton garlands. You prep them by cutting off the little loop at the top that holds the string on, and then you got to separate the joints, like the arms and the legs, so that you can repose them. But before you do, isn't that kind of a gruesome sight, all these bones everywhere? You can put them together in different shapes and stuff too, so just have fun making whatever gross thing you want to make. It's for Halloween, so it needs to be scary and disgusting. So I was going to use super glue on this, and you can, but it takes a really long time to set, and you have to hold it in place until it dries. So I used hot glue, and that set up faster. Just be patient, get it to dry in the pose that you like. The hot glue is a little bit flexible, so if it's not exact, you can work with it a little bit later. And then I just kind of went over each joint a few times and made some, I guess, like tendons or muscles to hold those together. And once you do that, get it in the pose that you like, put it on some sticks or on a surface that you can glue it down to, so that when you go to the next step, it's standing upright. You don't have to worry about it sticking to anything. So the next step is adding the muscles and tendons, and since this zombie is like rotted, maybe it crawled up out of a grave or something, it's all kind of be droopy and rotted, and they're not going to look like defined muscles. The whole point of the zombie looking gross is that it's messed up. So this is one of the easiest parts of the craft. The less good you are at it, probably the better your zombie is going to look. So I did follow a little bit of anatomy to make sure that the muscles kind of went in the right direction and stuff like that. So kind of be aware of how your glue is going to go, because you can make it look like it's melting instead of rotting. So that's kind of one thing that I would watch out for if I was making this myself, which I did. Next thing you do is you take some plain gelatin, some food coloring, a few drops of red, a drop of green, and maybe a drop of yellow, and it's going to make this really gross, deep, dark, bloody color. And once the gelatin starts to set up, it'll glob together, and then you just push those globs in the inside of the skeleton, and it makes kind of like the innards. It's so disgusting, I know, right? Gross out alert. Once you get that kind of spackled over there, here and there, you're not going to cover it completely. You're just kind of given the impression of muscle that's been exposed and kind of rotting, so it's turned dark, because maybe the skeleton, maybe he was a victim of zombies and he's turned into a zombie himself. So I took the extra pieces and kind of glued them together and did the same sort of thing and made a corpse, I guess, one of the victims that wasn't so lucky to be reanimated into a zombie, and set him on the side. And then the next thing I did while that gelatin was drying, made some like fat tones. So I just took like grayish pink color and painted it over it fairly well, not real in high detail, but I got some good coverage. And now I'm just kind of rinsing that off, and what it leaves behind is this rotted kind of muscly looking texture, and that's going to go well underneath the flesh tone that we're going to put on top after that's done. So I got to let that dry a little bit so that the tones don't combine, and then I can move on to the next step. So I mixed some flesh tones together, and I don't know if it's a trigger warning or not, but I just decided I would make the zombie sort of my own ethnicity, and so it's a lighter flesh tone. Feel free to, make if you're making a bunch of these, I would just have different types of flesh tones, just so that it doesn't look all like a copy of one thing. So I just started with this lighter flesh tone, and I sponged that on and in a little bit, and I'm going to use the same processes with the fatty layer, and spray that off in places where there shouldn't be any skin. And then on the arms and that where there might still be skin hanging, I left that tone there. And then when it dries, it all blends together really well, so you can see like the muscle layer, the fat layer, and the skin layer. So it really adds this level of detail that kind of makes you want to throw up in your mouth when you look at it. But that's the whole point of this. Is a disgusting zombie that I'm making, and I'm kind of like trying to make it real because it's a really small skeleton, so you can go really highly detailed with it, and you're not going to, you know, fly over the uncanny valley. I mean, if it was life size and you did this, it'd be terrifying and disgusting. But since it's a little model, you can get by with it being a little extra gross. So I took some twine, you see there, and unraveled it after I colored it with some dye to make the hair really thin. And I'm putting that on with some glue, just Mod Podge, making sure it's on there really good. And I'm cutting the ends a little bit so that it has like a part, so it looks like the hair is kind of in the skin part, and then where there might be a wound where the flesh is open, it kind of helps sell that illusion. So this one looks like it has a crack in its head, like maybe it was in an accident or something, I don't know. And the cavity, the abdominal cavity, is kind of open, and it's all gross, and it looks like there's old gross organs in there. It's disgusting. I love it. I think it's the coolest thing. I've showed people it, and if you have a little bit of dark side in you like I do, I love Halloween and gross, disgusting, scary things. I really like them in a fantasy context, not in real life, not at all. But this is what I was able to make. I made a few of them, and I'm planning on making a few more, and I hope you will too after watching this. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If it grossed you out, give me a thumbs up. And, you know, hit the subscribe bell, all that stuff. And of course, until next time, you guys, take care.